Hey, how are you, dude?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am doing awesome, man.
Great.
All
Good
right.
one. So I'm in Missouri now.
You're in Missouri?
Where am I?
You're in South Africa, aren't you?
I
Yeah,
know
you're in Missouri.
I'm in Missouri now. Okay.
Yeah, give me 1 second. All right. Well, for all you guys who don't know who this man is, this is the guy who taught me my first round of neuro linguistic programming, all the NLP that's changed my life. I credit most of my recent success and my mindset and perspective to life to this man. So I would say I'm an eternal debt to you, Simon. So super grateful that you took the time out of your busy schedule and the time zone difference to do this for me. So let's get
It's
kicked off, man.
it's a pleasure, Mason. Thank you for inviting me. It's not time out of my busy schedule because it's 11 o'clock on a Friday evening here. So usually I'd be in bed by 10 o'clock. So yeah, that's that. So I've got a cup of coffee and I got some water and I'm ready to go.
All right, perfect. So what I really wanted you to hammer down on is that really kind of the values level stuff and some of the things we talked about on the phone the other day about just why
Sure.
people are the way they are, especially maybe in the context of level
Absolutely.
5 entrepreneurs and things like that, things to avoid, whatever, but just whatever you think would be valuable to where they're at and the journey, pretty much brand new to entrepreneurship and insurance sales. So it's kind of who the people I'm working with are. But
Okay, just a question. I've been listening in for a while. Are most of you're doing short-term and long-term insurance? Is that the main market?
when you say short term, like, what do you mean by that?
Okay, it's probably a South African definition. Give me an idea of the kind of policies that you're
Like
selling.
they're selling term, whole life, like final expense stuff to pay off people's funerals, and then things to pay off like income replacement for 10 years of
Got
just
it.
having the money for 10 years that they would normally make, kind of like an income replacement, or they're selling whole life policies that'll be with them till the day they die.
Okay. Okay, I've got it. I've got it. So that's here what we class as long-term insurance. Can you just swing your camera so I can get a quick look at your audience for like 5 seconds?
Not with how the projector and stuff is set up.
Okay, don't do it. I've only seen a couple of people pop up. I saw a lady wearing black with blonde hair. I'm seeing you dressed really casual, so I'm not sure what you've got. About 50, 60 people in the room. Am I right?
No, I had a lot of people register, but not a lot show up. So the people who did
Okay.
show up are going to get some serious value.
Well, some people show up for live, some people don't, and that's that. But I'm sure those people who are there are getting the value from it. Check with me, Mason. I haven't used the StreamYard before. Is the way that I can show a couple of slides on here? Can you just direct me as to how? Do I hit present at the bottom? I can just check, see if it's. I can do that.
Yeah,
Let me
you
just.
should be able to share your screen or anything like that, and I can just put it.
Yeah, I'm just checking it here. Actually, I'm probably not going to do it. I can always send these through to you afterwards. But
Yeah, I'd love that.
can you give me a heads up in the room? These people you've got here, these people are out there, they're working on commission mostly. Is everybody working on commissions out there, or a high percentage of their salary, their remuneration based on what they sell?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Most people working for themselves?
Yes.
Okay. And average kind of like, what have we got? A wide age range in the room? Or are we your age range, or what are we at?
25 to 50.
Okay, cool. Great. Okay, well, first of all, thank you for the introduction. So I'm thinking people can see me now on some screen somewhere. So good evening to you, good morning to you. It's actually good afternoon. You've had your lunch. So I'm coming to you from Cape Town down in South Africa. So I'm right at the bottom of Africa. I'll give you a little bit about my life. I grew up in England. I did my first qualification in textile engineering and design, working for a family business. And then I kind of ran away from home and moved to London and studied accountancy. So I worked with a lot of figures. Then moved into direct marketing. And then 22 years ago, I moved into direct marketing. When I was in direct marketing, working with an Anglo-American company, I worked with clients, headed up clients. I was account director for clients like American Express. I do a lot of work in the US for companies like Citibank. I've worked for Visa, MasterCard, I don't know, Allianz, British Airways, all that kind of thing. So a big client list. And for me, when I set my own business up doing consultancy and communication and sales training around about 22, 23 years ago, that's when I kind of like the first time I didn't get a salary and it was up to me. So I had to learn how to sell. Mason, from what I've been hearing you delivering so far today, I'm going to ask you to come into one of my programs and kick the ass of some of my team. So I've been learning as well. And what I've heard Mason give you in the way that I experienced since I met him earlier this year is an energy and a passion and a force, which I would imagine it's quite something to be in that room. And I'm not somebody who'll just turn up on anybody's course at any time of day, but it's my pleasure and my honor to be with Mason. It's a pity I can't see you guys, but I can only imagine that the kind of people that Mason would attract towards him, because people tend to attract people like themselves. In whatever way, shape, or form. Now, have I ever sold insurance? No, I haven't. But have I taught a lot of people to sell insurance? Yes, I have. So I work for pretty big companies. I work around teaching them how to do acquisition, retention, maximizing lifetime value, and all that stuff. I'm thinking that if I ask the question, is there anybody in the room who would like to be able to sell more? I'm going to see quite a few. I'm imagining quite a few hands would go up right now.
Yeah, everybody's.
Would I be correct? I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, it's Friday evening. I haven't had a drink. Maybe I've gone crazy, but everybody would want to sell more. Okay, something like that. And Mason was asking, who he was asking you earlier on, who are your ideal clients? And Mason has probably also covered with you one of the presuppositions in NLP is that he or she who has the most flexibility controls the system. I'm sure I didn't hear him say that, but
we covered all the prime directives, all of the presuppositions of neurolinguistic programming. They really love sensory acuity and the communication model, just understanding how they see things. So
great. That's brilliant. So what I'm going to look at is you will have your types of clients that are probably pretty easy for you to make a deal with. And then you've probably got your other people who you think maybe they're not the kind of people who would buy from you or whatever it might be. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we tend to. There are people, it's like in our social circles. There's some people who we get on easy with, and then there are other people who we don't spend time with. So what I'm going to take you through now is something called, at the Tad James Company, on the work of Adriana James, it's based on value. She calls it the values levels, and it's numbered 1 through 7. If we look at the work of Don Beck and Richard Cowan, it's the work called Spiral Dynamics, and it's basically how the human mind has evolved over time. So I've got probably around about 30 minutes left now to take you through this. So I'm going to give you a quick...
And if we go over, that's cool with me, but I'll try to be respectful as I can of your time.
What I'm going to do, Mason, I did do up a whole bunch of slides here, just at the risk of losing 5 minutes uploading, downloading them. I'm going to send these slides to you anyway, and some notes, so that if you want to then send them out to the guys who are there.
That would be perfect, dude. Thank you.
Then they can have it afterwards, because I'm going to come out with a lot of words. I'm good at that. So just be ready for it.
Okay.
So, first of all, so we go back to, it depends where you think human beings came from. But if we go back to a time when we were all living in caves, yeah? If you were living in a cave, what would bother you in life? Well, I'm not so sure you'd be bothered about your Instagram profile. I'm not sure you'd be bothered about what showed up on Facebook. And I'm not really sure you'd not be bothered about what you were wearing. So it's said that when we lived in caves, we probably as a human species wouldn't recognize ourselves if we saw a reflection in the water. Okay. Most human beings are naturally a little bit lazy. We do not tend to do anything different unless an outside circumstance changes. I'm saying most, I'm saying not everybody. Yeah. So why would we move out of caves? I've got to take it right back to basics here. I hope you're okay with this. When you go back to your hotel rooms or you go home tonight, I'm just taking you to caves for a few minutes. So if you imagine that maybe there was a drought, maybe there was a flood, and you had to leave your cave. But living at cave level, all you're bothered about is a little bit of food. It's eat or be eaten. Yeah, it's shelter. You probably want, I've heard Mason using words like fuck, so you probably want a little bit of sex every now and then because the hormones go that way in your body. But that's really all you're bothered about. Keep warm at night, have a bit of sex, eat or be eaten, and life is cool. But then something happens one day and you've got to leave your little cave land and you maybe head over the plains somewhere and you suddenly discover the existence of others. Now, living in your cave, if we follow the values levels as written by Dr. Adriana James, or we call that in the Don Beck and Richard Cowan work, that is referred to as survival, all we're bothered about there is basically, it really is, kick it around with just the survival thing, because that's all it is. Once we move somewhere else, we become aware of the existence of others. Now, think about this. Think about when you do upgrades on your WhatsApp, when you do upgrades on your Microsoft 365, when you do upgrades on your Apple Mac. To be able to cope with the existence of others, we almost have to upgrade our level of thinking. Because prior to that, we didn't need to know what it was like to deal with other people. Okay. So once we discover the existence of others, we move, if you think about it, upgrade level 2, like whatever you call it, Mac Catalina, I don't know what the latest one is. I just press automatic update. But when we move to level 2, our thinking starts to incorporate and goes, okay, there's other people. And when there are other people, there become certain other things that are important. So now there's competition for resources. So we have to start thinking differently to be able to survive. Now, you can trace this back through history. It's really the evolution of consciousness. I could say it's the evolution of the human mind. I could say it's the upgrade of our ability to think, the upgrade of our programming that goes on in our mind. Now, then we head to level 3. And this is when people really start coming together in tribes. And you've seen the movies, people living in tribes, somebody's head usually ends up on a spear. It doesn't always go down pretty. And there's always somebody that's head of the tribe. Yeah, I've seen it. Alexander the Great is kind of like an example of somebody who would be level 3. And spiral dynamics, that would be, represented by the color red. Now, when thinking upgrades to level 3, the main things that are important to a person at this level are expressing themselves, but to hell with others. Yeah, it's expression of self to hell with others. Somebody with level 3 thinking wants to escape domination by others. So they want to create their own rules in their own world. There's one thing that doesn't exist at level 3 with a level 3 person is that they typically haven't developed the emotion of guilt. I don't know if anybody has any family members who never have any guilt. They've learned the word sorry, but really they don't have they don't mean it. It's just a word they learned at school. I've got a couple in my family. You're not alone. And what you'll get at level 3 is a lot of people, it's instant gratification. So that can be in anything. That can be in business. That can be in relationships. It can be wherever it might be. But really, a level 3 is about control at any cost. Now, you might think to me, okay, Simon's going back thousands of years. I'm going to say to you, level 3 is very present in the world we live in today. Level 3 is estimated to be around about 30% of the current population of the world. And there are various statistics. To do the whole course that Mason's done on values levels, Mason probably spent 2.5 days studying what I'm going through you within 35 minutes. So this is a very compressed, fast track through values levels. And nobody is either one of these or the other, because there's shades of gray. Yeah, it's not black or white. So I know that within me, there's some values level 3. Within me, there's some values level 2 to do with clan. My family is very important to me. But as we progressed, so when we went away from tribal, if you imagine the whole world having lots of different tribes on it now, and I believe person 8 billion was born last week, if we were all living in tribes fighting each other, it wouldn't be a very pretty place. So what happened at different times through the ages on the different centuries on different continents is values level 4, what we will refer to as values level 4, which is blue in the spiral dynamics context. Blue started to emerge. Now, blue level 4 is about systems and rules. It's doing the right thing. Yeah. So a lot of religious beliefs could be said to have been born out of level 4. Yeah, that's when it came in. So level 4, people will do everything that is right. Yeah, they'll clean the car on a Sunday, even if it's not dirty, because it has to be cleaned on a Sunday. They'll go for dinner with their parents every week because it's the right thing to do. They'll stay at work till 5 o'clock because it's the right thing to do. They'll do everything is a rule. Now, the odd numbers and the even numbers to mention at this point become relevant. The odd numbers are what we call expressive values levels, and the even numbers are what we call sacrificial values levels. Now think about it. This is very important from a selling insurance perspective. So a level 4, which is blue, will do everything that is right. So what will they do when it comes to buying insurance? What will be a thing that's important for them? Well, a thing that will be important for them is that they do the right thing by their family in the event that anything happens to them. Yeah, it's the right thing to have insurance. There are different emotions that there are different predominant emotions that run through each of these values levels, each of these software upgrades that we're talking about here. And one of the biggest emotions that sits with somebody who's level 4 is that of fear. And there is a strong need for security. So selling insurance to somebody who's at level 4, it's likely that they're going to buy it out of fear or out of doing the right thing. That's where it's going to be. So what is the point of you learning all this? Well, just for me to go back, it's he or she who has the most flexibility controls the system. He or she who has the most flexibility is going to be able to develop prospects, is the word that Mason uses. You're going to be able to develop more prospects and close more deals, because each of these different values levels will express themselves with a different appearance. You'll be able to recognize them, and they will use different language. You'll have to come back to, I've got to tell you this now, you're going to have to read what I sent through on the slides carefully to get this, or you're going to have to attend another course by Mason to fully get this some more. Not promoting you though, Mason, but I know you know the deal. I know you know everything that I'm talking about. Now, level 4 was fine. That went along quite happily in the world for a while. But around the time of the Industrial Revolution or the Agricultural Revolution, with if I go, for example, the creation of the plow. Yeah. Somebody found that if they created the plow and bought a number of plows, I hope I'm saying, sometimes my American doesn't translate into British because that's where I grew up, but it's okay. A plow is a plow. It's not a pluff or something weird. Tomato, all that deal going down. But somebody thought, okay, well, if I can get a plow and I can buy 5, I can employ people. So remember, 5 is now, we're going out of what we call the even numbers, the sacrificial values levels. So somebody who's at level 4 will sacrifice now for reward later. These are the people who will stay in a job till they're 65 or 70 to get the gold watch. Yeah, or these are the people who will always be really good because their reward will come in heaven. Okay, whatever it is, it's sacrifice now for reward later. Level 5, the next one, as I'm saying, it's some people realize, okay, I can create my own life. I can take responsibility for my own life. I can control my own income. That started to develop in that level of thinking in the human mind was said to have kicked off, like I say, around the agricultural industrial revolutions. So a level 5 will set about creating their own life. It's probably most of you in this room must have level 5 very open. Yep. So level 4 is where you have your systems. Now, you'll also need to have your systems in place because you can't just be a 5 without 4. Think about it. If you're going to create a successful business and you're going to create your own stream of income and know that you're responsible for creating your future, that is set in level 5. But a level 5, you're going to be limited if you haven't accepted that you need a system to support you, whether that's your CRM system or your processes or your discipline every day, keeping your accounts on track and your returns to Uncle Sam, then you're going to end up in the dwang or in the shit. Okay? So a 5 will build off a strong base of 4. If you don't like 4 stuff, because probably most of you find it boring, find a system, outsource it, or employ somebody to do it for you. I can't stand administration. I have somebody come in every couple of days and I just dump everything a tray and they sort the whole thing out. That's my way. Yeah? I can do the 4. I'm trained as an accountant. That's fine, but I do not like it. Yeah, so a 5 is where somebody will create their own life. Now, a 4 will buy from you out of fear or the need for security. A 5's thinking is very different to a 4's. So a 5 will be buying on a win-win basis. Your conversation with a 5 will be incredibly different to your conversation with a 4. Yeah, they are going to negotiate with you and they are going to be doing all that stuff, and there we have it. Now, to mention the next values level that comes in, which is level 6. Here, this level 6 started kicking in around about the 1960s, 1970s. And level 6, how many people do we have in the room who give a damn about recycling or the planet? I just want to can you give me a check on that, Mason? Is that coming more into anybody's awareness? I don't know what it's like in Missouri with regard to that.
Yeah, 2/3.
2/3. Okay. So probably your parents really didn't think about that. But level 6 thinking is now starting to evolve. So people of the younger generation are now much more aware of, I don't give a damn what your belief is, whether it's true, whether you believe it's true or you believe it's not true. There's an increasing amount of the population who want sustainability. Yeah, they want you not to be printing documents. They want to be using DocuSign. Yeah, they want to be involved with businesses who are that way. I know here in South Africa, that's very big. I know less so in America. But here in South Africa, if we don't show that we have sustainable policies in place, then people aren't going to do business with us. So it's one thing to be aware of in America that level 6 is now increasingly open. Some of you out there who've got kids, some of you in that room who've got children probably find your children maybe into some what you think are weird ways of thinking. I'm going to go, no, they're just opening up into level 6 thinking. And their ways of thinking, if you think they're weird and they're different to you, remember how weird and different you were to your parents when you were a kid. Yeah, I'm going to go, it's just the way it goes. We could go up to level 7, which is really systems thinking, but I'm going to send you through the slides on that because it's more important that I give you some of the key words for each values levels. Most of your clients are likely to be 4s who are like very systems-based, fear-based and needing security and just doing the right thing. And the other chunk of your clients are going to be 5s who have their own businesses. And as long as you can create a win-win situation, that'll be that. I heard Mason mentioning earlier that you should give a damn about your clients, put your customer first. Yeah, there's one big insurance, the biggest insurance company in Africa. I don't know if you know, in Africa, we have 55 countries down here. But it's one of the biggest insurance companies down here. They also have offices in Amsterdam, in New York, and in London. So it's an international company that I do work for. I've worked for them now for about 15 years. They keep calling me back for some weird reason. But what I'm going to say is a couple of things to you. To sell is to serve. Those of you out there who are looking for the next sale, what I'm going to tell you right now is you're probably a level 3. You're probably a level 3, and you're going to have a client you're going to have a high turnover of clients, and you're unlikely to get referrals. And that ain't no problem. Just go, okay, this is where I'm at. But those of you who are truly going to make a success, and this is where a lot of what Mason is teaching you and the things that I've heard him setting you as homework for tonight are really going to help you, it's that progression from 3, 4 through to 5. Why? Why, Simon? Not just because Simon says, but at level 3, which is 30% of the world's population, that is 10% of the income. Yeah, that's 10% of the wealth on the planet sits with level 3s. Once you make it through the level 5 and you accept systems, you are somebody who gives a damn about people. You understand how to create a win-win situation, which will lead to a long-term relationship, which means you will get word of mouth and you won't have to go out selling there as much because your reputation will just go before you. Then you're heading through to 5. Now, level 5 is estimated to be 25% of the world's population, and they control 40 to 45% of the world's wealth. So there's a big difference in how much money you make according to your level of thinking. Okay, level 3, these are your second-hand car salesmen. They don't give a damn. The guarantee runs out as soon as you've driven off the forecourt, and away you go. Yeah. Ain't no good in insurance, just like you sell somebody the policy and then you go, oh, damn, you haven't spoken to them for 2 years, and then you're surprised when they cancel on you. Don't be. Somebody just offered them a better deal. If you didn't keep that relationship going with them, why the hell would they be loyal to you when somebody comes along and saves them $10 a month? You did nothing. How hard was it to go that? You don't need to go the extra mile. You don't need to go the extra mile. You need to be 1 or 2% better than everybody else, and then you're better than everybody else. Yeah, Mason, please jump in, because you know I can talk forever on this stuff, and I know the slides will explain a lot, but are there any questions? You've probably got a mix of 3, 4, 5 in the room right there, right?
Yeah, no, I love it. And it's really just trying to get them to find that same belief that I have in myself and finding it in themselves. Like the belief that they, 1, can do this, 2, that they are willing to pay the price. Like, okay, winners and losers both have the same goal. It's like that the winner was just willing to pay the price. So it's like just what I've really been trying to get them to open their mind up to is just like accepting responsibility and realizing that the only certain thing about life is that it's uncertain, and they can just take things and do it. Don't try, just do.
Right. Okay. So try, you need to kick out of the window. The average human being has between 60 and 90,000 thoughts a day. So it's not just what you say, it's what you think. Become the police your own thoughts. Anytime, like I heard Mason saying, write down your limiting beliefs or something tonight, write down objections. The voice inside your head can often be full of a whole lot of words that will hold you back. Here's the thing, they're not real, they're not even yours. And a lot of the rules that you run on your life are rules that were written by people who are now dead. Yeah, they've now passed away. A lot of your operating system, a lot of your level of thinking is not even yours. 90% of our thoughts are not our own. Yeah, maybe you were told by your family, you'll never be as good as me, you'll never make it. Nobody who came from our background ever did it. Nobody in our family, whatever you've been told, if you accepted to believe it, then it's your belief, then you're owning it. But you've got to understand it's a construct. Human being, there were 4 types of human beings kind of on the planet. We're the Homo sapiens, whatever. The other 3 species didn't make it. Why didn't they make it? Because as human beings, as Homo sapiens, we developed the ability to use language. Yeah, so it started off pretty basic. It'd be like you'd be up the tree living in your nest or whatever you're living in, and you could go, okay, river, fish, don't go, lion. That's all fine because it could keep us alive, and it could, okay, river, fish, lots of fish, go fish. But we developed language. Now, the bit where it went a bit crazy is that all this language developed in our mind as well. So that which keeps you alive can now actually destroy your life, because that self-talk of everything that you've learned and listened to and been told and chose to believe or not to believe, either about yourself or the world that you live in, understand that's your programming. And the only person responsible for changing it is you. So for you to pick up on, like Mason is saying, the word try, drop it out. If you are a religious person and you believe in God, if we go down that track, and I'm going to say this applies to any religion, but if we go from the Christian faith perspective, I'm going to go, every human being, God gave us the power to create. Yeah, it's the whole thing. So you have the thought. Some of you will have the thought, well, I want to get a new house. Does the house exist? No. I want to get a new car. Does the car exist? No. But how do you bring the thought? The thought happens in the mind. How do you bring it down into existence? Whether that is money in your bank account, whether is that the car, that's the house, that's the family. How do you bring it down? Well, you have the thought at a conscious level. I'm going to say to you, the only thing that is going to stop that manifesting or coming into a real existence is your internal self-talk in your mind, based on your doubts about yourself, your beliefs about yourself, or your non-beliefs about yourself. Mason's probably introduced to you the concept of the conscious and the unconscious mind. Milton Erickson, and I've worked in business coaching for many years now, I recognize that the only time you'll have a client, or when somebody's not getting everything they want in their life, whether that's relationship, business, whether it's self-development or whatever it might be, health and fitness, another one, is when their conscious mind is not working together with their unconscious mind. So they have the thought, but the negative thinking, or maybe I can't do it, gets in the way. As such, we cannot have creation, the God-given gift. If we go to the Christian faith, we're not actually using that which was given to us. I don't know if I'm getting too serious now. I can smile as well.
I love it.
I don't know.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's really get out of your own way, but recognize your own bullshit. I mean, it's really easy to go through life making out everything's fine and going, hey, it's all good. And, we can look good. We can drive the right car. Nobody knows how much debt we owe on the car. We can make it look pretty. We can show it out there on Facebook. Here's the thing. The only person you can be real with is actually yourself. And I've worked in the field of sales, communication, personal development, NLP. It's kind of like 20 years now. It's more than that. I first started working in NLP 25 years ago. And this last couple of weeks, I don't sit here as somebody who's got it all sorted out. I have a nice life, but I'm a work in progress, the same as everybody else. And I was on a call a couple of weeks ago. No, it's a couple of weeks ago with somebody who's also worked with Mason. Mason, you remember Laura Petrie from Florida?
Yeah.
She lives down in Palm Beach. You remember Laura? She's did neuroscience. She's a neuroscientist. She was a sales rep for a pharmaceutical company. And now she works mostly in the field of neuro linguistics. I was on a call with her. Laura's one of my coaches. I'm fortunate to have a couple of people who coach me. I'm fortunate to have people who will kick me out of my own way, who will call me out on my bullshit. And Laura will do it, and it comes at me like a stab. Yeah, it comes at me. But I've got one life. You guys, you don't know, big revelation here. I'm 57. You've got a limited time that you know of on this stage of life. Make it damn well good. Make it damn well good. When you bow out, stage left, be able to look back and go, you know what? I fucking did it. whether that's for your family, whether that's that you got your car you wanted, whether that's what you were able to give back and contribute and make this world a better place. Know that this is your movie. You've had your sequel in the past. Your parents played a part in it. They told you what to do, what not to do. You probably dreamt of being an astronaut once or flying a 737-800 for Southwest. Or maybe some of you are going to run for president in 2024. I don't know. But you've had your life up to date. Some of you have suffered. You've had physical abuse. Some of you have been let down. Some of you have been dumped. Some of you have dumped people. Here's the thing. You sit where you are right today. Who makes the movie of your life that it's going to be for the future? Who does that? And I'm going to say to you, it's only you. You write the script. You are the director. You are the producer, and you are the lead. It's your damn movie. You can bring other people into it, but it really is up to you. So this stuff that Mason's going through with you to do with the thinking, the unconscious mind, and the homework that he's setting you, my wish for you is get out of your own way. Be okay to fall down. Get those people around you who will kick your ass. If you're in a group of people who go out of that room on a break, and people tend to get together in groups of victims, yeah, they get together. It's like, battered husbands get together and bitch about their wives. Battered wives get together and bitch about their husbands. Drug addicts get together and bitch and moan about all that kind of stuff. There could be a group of you in that room who get together and go, he's telling us all this stuff that doesn't work. Well, you know what? Then get together. But what I'm going to tell you is, you want to bring those people into your life who'll kick your ass out of its own way. And my revelation that I got some words that came to me 2 weeks ago when Laura was kicking my butt. And you can take these words different ways. But it came down as fight for my life. Now, that's not fight for my life to survive, but that is me, that I've made a decision that I am going to fight to live my life. So it's really very positive for me. So I'd love to say to you guys, fight for your life. Fight for the life that you want. Defend the dreams that you want. Face your fears. And I'll send you this presentation because I've gone off track. I know damn well you've got somebody in front of you who'll kick your butt. Some of you will stick with him. Some of you maybe not. But my wish for you is that you make your life the movie that you want it to be, and it's yours. Own it. Mason, there's a lot more on the slides. I've got to give you an idea of what I've got coming through here, what I'll send through to you. I've got a whole slide, for example, on the. You've probably done stuff on rapport with matching people's words. Am I correct?
We went over some sensory acuity, different things like that. Today was really just about mindset. Tomorrow is going to be all about implementation.
Okay, cool. So I'll send this presentation through to you today. I'm not, if I don't have your email address, just chuck it in WhatsApp. I'll send it through on.
Okay.
I'll send it through on there, and it will give all the people there with you. It'll give them words to listen out for, so that they will be able to identify when they're dealing with a client who's level 4 or level 5, or whether they're dealing with a client who's level 6, for example, or whether they're dealing with a level 3. There's a lot of words here, but what that then means in terms of building rapport and establishing a connection, you'll be able to speak more in their language. It's as basic as if I go to France, I'm going to, where possible, use my schoolboy French, because I'm going to create a better connection. I don't care whether you're a 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, or you've got 7 emerging. But with what I send through to you, it should help you guys create more connections than you've had in the past and help you close more deals. And I guess that can always help you have a better life. And I'm looking at the time now. And if there's any questions, Mason, from you or anybody there.
My biggest thing would be like, how do they really get out of their own way and really just focus on doing what they themselves deem meaningful? Like, how do they push all this overthinking, this BS anxiety, this why can't I do this belief? Like, how do they get from thoughts into reality? Like, how do they just focus on the execution and really chasing after what they deem meaningful and what they want in life? How do they get out of their own way?
How'd you get out of your own way?
Break the habits, break the patterns.
Okay, so first of all, you've got to recognize your patterns, or somebody's got to point them out to you. So what do I mentioned what I have. I have a couple of people around. Well, I've got more than 2 people around me. I have people who who will call me out on my own bullshit. Yeah, and they, because they know me, they're a part of my life. Then they recognize the patterns that I don't see in myself. Yeah, because we can't always think outside the box of our own thinking. So have somebody around you who'll kick your ass, and have them kick it hard. Yeah, it's very easy to get people around you who'll just agree with you. It's very it's tough love. You want tough love. You want the kick, or you don't. I mean, if you're happy with your life as it is, and it's all quite cool, well, you probably wouldn't be at this seminar right now with Mason. You probably want more. So have those people who call you out on your bullshit. Recognize your own patterns. One of the patterns that I recognized, there's a pattern that I recognized when I was speaking to Laura, and it was when it came down to a family context. It's kind of crazy, but it affected me in the business world as well. Is that I always thought, well, you've just got to do this because to do this will get you liked. It's weird. It's something that was set in from childhood, and it wasn't until the age of 57 that it hit me. Yeah, which is coming out of that went fight for my life. So you may recognize your own patterns. Another thing to do is all I can say is really be real with yourself, get people around you to be honest with you. Start finding people who are models of excellence. So people who have created success in the business that you're in, find out how they think. Mason's telling you how he thinks. I had the pleasure of spending, a week with him in Florida. I got a lot of Mason's thinking. I liked it. I met somebody who had a passion, not just for himself, but for others. And that's why I'm here today, because Mason gives a damn about others. Yeah. So find your people, copy what they do. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. But don't just copy what they do, because what they do is a result of how they think. Yeah, behavior comes out of thinking. Yeah, so if you change your thinking, then you will change your behavior. If you change your behavior, either what you do or what you don't do, what you say or what you don't say, all behavior leads to the results you have in life. Yeah, so it's change your thinking. But your thinking sits in your unconscious mind. It's what you believe in. It's what's important to you. It's your memories. It's your decisions. It's all those things that Mason's probably shown you in the model of communication. It's the program. It's how you think. It's who you are. But here's the surprise: who you are and what you think. 90% of it isn't you. You probably picked up a lot of thinking from your grandmother, from your grandfather, from your teacher at school. If some of you watch Crystal Carrington and Dynasty, you probably got some of it from there. Or Little House on the Prairie. I don't know what you watched as a kid. But find the people who have the results that you want to get, model their thinking, and then you will create the same behavior, and you will create the same result for yourself. Mason, did I answer that question, or did I bullshit everyone?
No, that was good.
Okay.
They've stayed engaged, and I think it's delivered some serious value, and I think they'll have the same effect as when I left Florida. It's kind of hard to unsee the world the way you do after you learn this sort of stuff.
You'd really be wild to give these guys like a day probably on this, because you can bring, I'd say like around, especially the levels 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be cool. So for example, I'm currently revamping a section of one of the businesses that I have, and I'm bringing in a lot more 6 stuff. Why? Because I'm looking at appealing to a younger generation. So I've got to have 6 thinking in there. It happens to be that that's okay for me, because a lot of my 6 thinking, giving a damn about the planet, is very real. That's where my thinking is at. So it works with me. But if I want to be able to, provide services, deliver trainings, and appeal to a section of the population where level 6 thinking is now around about 50% of that generation, then I better be able to have a conversation about level 6 thinking. Yeah, because if you are think about this, you're having a meeting with somebody, whether it's in their office or wherever it might be, there may be 4 or 5 people around the table, or you go and present to some parents and their kids are around, and the parents start going on about something and you go, yeah, fuck global warming, that's not real. And the child afterwards, after you've gone, that child could start taking you down. You want to just be very aware. And like I say, who knows what's right and who knows what's wrong. But you want to say the right thing at the right time so that you get the sale and somebody else doesn't, because somebody will.
Yep. You just make it easier for the next person.
There you go. You got it.
No, well, I think this kind of loosened their model of the world like you did mine until it just fell right out underneath me.
You could you could probably do something, Mason, with people using the coaching values inventory. You could probably do something with that, and then people can work out. I mean, I can tell you, I'm predominantly a level 5, so I take responsibility for my life. Level 4, I've worked out. Forgive me. And a lot of my 6 thinking and 7 thinking is very open. But, just a wish for you, I'd wish for you all every now and then to have a level 1 weekend where all you want to think about is food, shelter, and sex, because it can be great fun. So sometimes it's good to regress to level 1, but your most success will come when you're at level 5, and level 5 can cut through their own bullshit. So Mason, if you've got more questions, I'm cool.
Any of you guys have anything you wanted to ask him? What is it? Just gut instinct. It's a lot of sensory detail overload for most of them.
I'm sure so.
If I do have anything, I will be very. What is it? They want to know how to progress to the values levels.
Okay.
Just a summed up answer.
Okay.
I'll be going over this with them as well.
Most people who get into self-development are typically moving from level 4 through to level 5, with probably a bit of 3 in it. So when I was listening in earlier to what Mason was telling you, he is giving you different ways to think. He's probably saying to you, be at cause, don't be at effect. A level 4 will be somebody who's being at effect all the time. A level 5 will be at cause, and we'll get a learning that's positive for self and future from everything. So if you just incorporate that which Mason is teaching you, you're going to accelerate your progression through to level 5. Now, level 5 has 3 different levels. It has entry, it has in the middle, and it has progressive out at the top end. Like I said, there's a lot more detail on this. But Mason's giving you the principles that if you apply them, everything he's teaching you is very much level 5 driven. Yeah, it's very much level 5. That's where it is. So he's actually teaching you how to head into level 5.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. That's what I've heard you doing for the last couple of hours.
Correct. I've incorporated everything I've learned into stuff like this. So like I said, I'm in eternal debt to you guys. Mason's
giving you the instruction book as to how to progress to level 5 and create more of the movie that you want in life. And that's it. That's what he's doing. So that's how you progress through it. It's kind of weird because I had a client down here in Cape Town. He was just to give you a summary of how life goes, because we progress through life and what's important to us changes. This is good stuff to know from a personal level as well. You will change. You could be in a relationship with somebody and they could be going, no, don't start your own business. Don't start this whole thing, because they're kind of sticking at level 4. So they might try and hold you back. Yeah. When you got together, you may have both had secure jobs in a company. And then one of you starts thinking, hey, what if I create my own deal going on? So two people who to get together when their thinking is at values level 4, when one of them starts progressing to 5 because they've maybe just spent more time around more people who are creating success, or they've done more self-development, you could get conflict in a relationship. I'm just giving you a heads up on this. Yeah. So those of you who are in relationships, you guys who are in values levels are very important in relationships as well as in selling. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff you can learn around this. I was going to say something else, but it's gone out of my head. I'm going to blame the time of day.
No, that's perfect. I'm going to be going over that 6-3 feedback loop you showed with them: the give, the take, forgive.
Yeah, the 6-3 is big. So as long as you're going to take them through that, because a 6 basically thinks it can heal the world. Oh, I was telling you about my client in Cape Town. That's right. He's a Dutch guy. I came back to it. He's a Dutch guy, and he had an IT company. He had, when it was all servers here, there, and everywhere, had servers all over the US, all over India, and down here in Africa. And this is now probably 18 years ago. He sold his business out for $120 million. Now, 18, 19 years ago, that's fairly cool. He's got a beautiful house, actually. For those, I don't know if anybody's been to South Africa, if you could see through the window here, Table Mountains just behind me. Anyway, he built a beautiful kind of 4-story house. The top 2 floors are all glass. Probably one of the richest guys in South Africa. But what do you do when you've had a whole lot of successful businesses and you know you can create whatever business at any time, and you know that whatever happens to you, even if you lose everything, you have the thinking, you have the neurology to recreate it whenever you want? Let me tell you what happens. You then start thinking, what is life all about? And that's typically where you head into level 6. He headed full on into level 6 and went to Africa Burn, the equivalent of Burning Man in America. He got hooked on cocaine. He started getting depressed, went on a whole lot of medication, got involved in another relationship, had 2 kids. You got to go through one values level to get to the next. What he's done now is typically, he's probably now one of, I don't know, he's definitely one of the richest people in the whole of Africa. He's moved 3-6 thinking. He's gone up to 7. He would hang around. He now hangs around with people like, okay, it's maybe not so popular to say it today, but a good friend of his is Elon Musk. But this guy who lives in Cape Town, he's not famous. Nobody knows him. He drives a 1,000cc car. He doesn't give a damn. He doesn't give a damn if anybody knows his name, but he's making a difference on the planet. He can create whatever money he wants, and he can actually make a difference in this world in which we live. So you will go through your phases, but kick 5, get 5, so that even if you lose everything, you can make it all back. Because it's a way of thinking. Yeah, and a 5 won't live in fear. They'll know they can recreate it. Even if you take everything away from them in one day, they'll get up and they'll recreate it because they have the thinking, they can create the behavior that gets the results. So stick around with this Mason guy. He'll sort you out. Give him the permission to kick your ass really hard. And I'll kick his ass and you kick his ass as well. And then together we all create a better place to live and a better movie for the rest of our lives. Mason, thank you for trusting me with your
Thank you, seriously.
And I'll send the slides through to you, my friend.
No, will do. If y'all like to give him a round of a hand, nice toot and holler.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, I look forward to seeing you in the near future, man.
You got it. Cut me out of here now. Have a beautiful rest of the day.
Will do. See ya.
Okay. Good night.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that.